I think we have some real soccer to talk about. Like the tournament is literally something like 20 days away. It's like
Yeah,
23 days away or something.
yeah, it's super soon. We're gonna put a link in the description of the pod to a bracket group that we're gonna do. It's on a website called Pick 26, which is a website that my friend made. That's gonna help us create a group, and so people will be able to go in and make your predictions for the entire group stage, all 72 games of the group stage, and then also we'll have a bracket for the knockout rounds as well. Just like with March Madness. I'll put the invitation link in the description. Please do come and compete with us and interact with us. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Anything you want to say about that, John?
No, I would just say this is where it really counts. You know,
Cool.
March Madness does count as well, but this is the next level of ball knowledge.
March Madness was just a warm up to
Yeah.
the real stuff here. Really quickly, I made up like six just quick little categories. We'll just go rapid fire on these, and then we'll get into spend the what time we have left on some of just the big storylines and things that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
But first off, John, real quick, who's gonna win the World Cup?
This is interesting and we'll get into this in more detail later, but I'm going to say Spain right now, but England in my heart. However, I will say this is England's last chance. If England's generation do not win this tournament under Thomas Tuchel this year, they will not win it in the next decade. So throwing that out there. But I think Spain is the favorite going into this tournament.
Yeah, I have Spain as well. Dark horse contender,
Norway.
Erling Haaland. I have South Korea. I
Interesting.
think I love him and Son. I one thing I actually have them winning their group and on my pick 26. They're in the group with Mexico, and I
Okay.
actually have South Korea finishing top of that group, along with I think the Czech Republic are also in that group, and I can't remember the fourth team. One thing about South Korea that I just can't get out of my head was last September of 2025. So last year when they came to America for a four-team tournament and beat the USA 2-0 and then drew 2-2 with Mexico and kind of like walked away with that four-team tournament in pretty good shape. And like, that was kind of an early test that the USA failed. Mexico were obviously, are going to be good. And so, yeah, I was very impressed by that. I want him and Son to have one more just great tournament in him. And so, yeah, I think that they'll be in the knockout stage, and I hope that they can win a couple rounds there too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I do think South Korea is a team that I often is one of those international teams where I look at it and I see like there's a world class player on this team. Who else is there that's going to make a difference? Korea has at times in the last, couple World Cups felt like a team that could make the jump and then didn't. So I'm interested to see kind of with this being Hyun Son's last kind of World Cup as a player in his relative prime, if he can make the difference. That's part of the reason why I feel really good about Norway, though. Norway did not qualify for last Euros, then really just cruised through qualifying for this World Cup. They shellacked quite a few teams. Erling Haaland just scored goals for fun, and he will be coming off a season where he's going to feel disappointed with himself about how things have gone for Manchester City. And I don't know. I think he's going to have a point to prove. He's never played at the World Cup before. Martin Odegaard is on that team as well. And they're in a tough group, but I do think that if they make it out of that group, they will be a genuinely dangerous team.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that group again. I do expect Norway to do well. I expect Erling Haaland to score many, many goals.
Many goals.
Um, how about a fun team, John?
My fun team is always Japan. My wife's family's part Japanese, and I truly enjoy getting to watch them every time they play. I've got a couple jerseys. There's just something about the ethos of the team that I really enjoy. They've always had like a player here and there, like Shinji Kagawa back in the day or Kasuki Honda, and now they've got a few players around Europe who are solid. Maybe not as flashy and exciting as some of those guys used to be. But still, it's a really good, hardworking team that every time I see them take down a major team like they took down Spain last World Cup, it just brings joy to my heart.
My fun team is Scotland, who, like I
Just a great
mentioned,
choice.
I just thoroughly was so dialed into their World Cup qualification run, and like that, like I mentioned, that game against Denmark where they qualified for the World Cup. I think that if you watch their games, you're going to see some familiar faces, whether it's Andrew Robertson or former Arsenal boy Kieran Tierney, as well as John McGinn, Billy Gilmore, and of course one of my just most beloved players, Scott McTominay, who is having just an absolute resurgent career after leaving Manchester United. I am going to be rooting for Scotland as far as they will go. And not it's not just because I love their national anthem, it's because I love their players, I love their team, I love the passion that their fans have, I love the process by which they made it to the World Cup and just the drama. I think that there is going to be a lot of drama. Not like gossip, not like off the field drama, but like really, really good sporting drama with Scotland whenever they are on the pitch. And I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I really hope so. I love Scotland. I love the players. I am really worried about them. They're in a group. Haiti's in there, and hopefully that'll be a win for Scotland. But they've got Brazil and Morocco in their group, and those are both. Morocco made it all the way to the semifinals last time. Brazil is always a contender. I would love it for Scotland to be successful, but I am concerned for their World Cup future.
Then, of course, Morocco won AFCON, as we know.
Maybe. Questionably.
Group to watch, John.
Ooh, group to watch. Well, you've got the real group. There is one clear group to watch. But I think there are two other groups that we should look at. Group D, featuring the U.S., has Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey as well. It doesn't necessarily have the flashiest teams on paper, but I think they're all very even. And because the U.S. is in there, like, we'll have a real vested interest. And I think it's completely possible. Like, the U.S. could finish bottom of that group, or we could win it and win it all. Like, not actually win it all, but you know what I mean.
I feel like every outcome is possible.
Every outcome is possible. I also like Group F. Netherlands, Japan, and Sweden and Tunisia are all four really solid teams. And the Netherlands, little sneak peek, is a team that I think is very solid and maybe isn't like a favorite to go super deep in the tournament, but they did really well in qualifying, and they've just got a really solid core of players. Like, I was looking through that crew, and it is all very serious contender players.
Yeah, the group that I picked, you mentioned it's kind of the obvious choice. I picked Group I, which is a group with France, who won the 2018 World Cup and were in the final in 2022. Senegal, who, as we mentioned, actually won the AFCON final before that drama ensued. And then the aforementioned Norway, who you mentioned, and Iraq. I think that France, Senegal, and Norway is just a titanic three-way battle for two spots. I know that a lot of teams in the third position will also advance to the knockout round, so it's possible that all three of them will. But those are the heavyweights. You've got Mbappe, you've got Holland, you've got just a very, very good Senegal team. There's a lot there.
Yeah, it is going to be super competitive. And, like, it's not a foregone conclusion that either Senegal or Norway make it out of that group to me. Like, France will qualify, obviously, but between Senegal and Norway, like, that is a real battle with real, Senegal, it won AFCON on the field, right? And then Norway has a couple high caliber players, but like some of those Senegalese players play at a higher level than most of the Norwegian squad, I'm pretty sure. So it is not a foregone conclusion by any means.
Best player of the tournament.
Christian Pulisic. That's a joke.
You don't mean that.
Yeah, that's a joke. I think Kylian Mbappe is going to come into this tournament with a point to prove. He was the best player in 2018. Lionel Messi carried Argentina to the World Cup in 2022, but like you could make an argument Kylian Mbappe was the best player in that tournament as well. And I think even if France does not win this World Cup, they have a good squad, and Mbappe will come back into this tournament after a disappointing club season with a point to prove again. And he can just win games all by himself. He could be on a really poor team on this international stage, like not France, and still take them deep. Like, he is that good.
I picked Bruno Fernandes, who I think is an actual like Ballon d'Or best player in the world contender this season after his just monumental season at Manchester United. I can't even say a breakout season, but just one like a career achievement season for Bruno at United. I think that Portugal are in one of the easiest groups. They have Colombia, the Congo, and Uzbekistan. They're going to win through all 3 matches. I think Bruno could rack up just a really ridiculous stat line in those games with assists and goals. I'm really not sure how far I think Portugal is going to go, and if I believe that they are actual like final or champion contenders. They did bring Ronaldo back to the squad, which I think is, maybe not a good sign for where they're at. But I think that in a team that is one of the best in the country, in the world, with superstars, with someone like Ronaldo who comes with a lot of, power, Bruno Fernandes is the best player on that team. Hands down.
That's just what's tough is like, I think that is at least close to being true. Like, he is very, very good. But you look at that roster, you've got that midfield, it is probably going to be Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, and Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
And you have world-class midfielders on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
In that
Pedro Neto, among others, yeah.
Well, Pedro Neto, you've got João Neves, who plays at PSG as well. There are at least a couple more that I'm just blanking on. Yeah, João Felix plays in Saudi. Rafael Leao, João Cancelo, Diego Dallo, like
Nuno Mendes plays at PSG.
Ruben Dias. Yeah, like you've got some real players throughout that whole team. Portugal is a team, like, if Ronaldo was not there and I didn't have the baggage of watching them deal with the Ronaldo problem since 2016 when they won the Euros, I would be looking at them and saying, like, this is your moment to win the World Cup. As it is, I think the forward line is a little bit suspect. Pedro Neto is fine, but, he's not by any means like a Kylian Mbappe. Rafael Leao could have been that player. It doesn't feel like he is right now. Gonçalo Ramos certainly isn't that forward. This team, to me, has one of the best defense and midfields in this entire tournament, if not the best. But they are crying out for some goals from somewhere. And so it just depends. Spain won the Euros with Alvaro Morata leading the line. Oyarzabal often played there late in games. Like, it is possible to win without every single player being a world-class striker. So Portugal is a team to watch. I think Ronaldo needs to play on the bench. And if he's starting games, I do think that they will disappoint.
Yeah, throwback to 2018 when the whole talk around France was that their striker couldn't score a goal and they cruised to the championship.
Exactly.
With one goal from their striker. I think, just a brief aside, Pedro Neto, who I like a lot, it's interesting. I just think kind of sad that he made it to the World Cup and his Chelsea teammate, João Pedro, who is significantly better than Pedro Neto, did not make it to his national team for the World Cup. And I just think that's interesting because Pedro Neto has been, I think, from my perspective, by far Chelsea's best player. And so just weird. Anyway, last category, John, breakout player of the tournament.
Erling Haaland.
This is not an appropriate answer. This is neither.
He's never played in a World Cup. He's never played in a World Cup before.
This is not an acceptable answer. I reject it. Do better. He is not breaking out of anything. Everyone knows who he is. He's
going to break out into the World Cup.
What is he? How is he going to break out? Describe to me the conditions in which he does something that surprises people.
If he scores 3 goals a game for the entire tournament, that will surprise people.
That would be fairly on par for him. Didn't he score like 13 goals in 5 games in qualifying or something?
So it was an insane number. I don't know what it was exactly. No. In terms of actual serious breakouts, Elliot Anderson, who plays for Nottingham Forest, played a role quite often in midfield alongside Declan Rice for qualifying for England. He has been quite good in the Premier League. He has scored some incredible goals periodically. He's a great defensive midfielder. I expect him to start in the World Cup throughout the tournament for England. Manchester City is looking at him among other players. Like, he is a real prospect, and I think this will be a moment where he, especially if England make a deep run, will get announced on the world stage.
My choice is Endrick, who is a 19-year-old teenager, a Brazilian. He plays for Real Madrid, but he's been on loan to Lyon in France. And I think that he is poised for a big role in the World Cup and a breakout. You know how the Brazilians love their teenage sensations. And I'll just say, as an anecdote, when Megan and I were at the Croatia Brazil game, the biggest reaction of the night from the 80% majority Brazil fans was when Endrick came onto the pitch. They love him. They believe in him. I think he's going to have a big role in the tournament. I think he's a special talent. I do think he's going to be like a Real Madrid starter within a year. And I do think he's going to play big minutes for this Brazil team. Kind of like, kind of like Lamine Yamal in the Euros. Just a breakout teenage sensation who is going to show the world what he can do. And that to me, John, is like the actual real definition of what a breakout player is.
Oh, that's good. Oh, sorry. I was just assuming that we were just talking about on the international stage, but no, that's my bad. No. Endrick is interesting. I think he thinks that he's the next Pele. Just in terms of social media
don't agree?
vibes. I don't agree. No, I don't. Yeah. And I think Brazilian fans, much like they wanted Neymar to be that guy, they also want him to be that guy. Interestingly, Neymar was chosen above players like João Pedro on this team by Carlo Ancelotti. And Brazil, they've got some really good forwards in there, but they can't play all of them. They have a terrible midfield. They have a solid defense. And Brazil's one of those like make or break teams for me that like they could do really well or they could get dumped out really early by a consistent team that like knows how to boss a midfield. This Brazil team to me is not beating a top contender.
As you mentioned to me yesterday when the Brazil squad was announced, this Neymar selection by Carlo Ancelotti may be less about his impact on the pitch and more about the fact that he doesn't want like the team bus to be blown up on the way to the airport. like it might just be like an appease the fan decision.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if that is the case, that is the exact same problem that has been happening to Brazil for the last 20 years. Yeah. Brazil's last World Cup win was in 2002 in South Korea and Japan. And since that time, like Ronaldinho was still playing during that era, right? Like, since that time, they have lost on home soil. They have collapsed in all kinds of situations. Infamously, they were blown out by Germany 7-1 on home turf.
They did win an Olympic gold medal, right?
Yeah, but like that doesn't count. That wasn't the senior
that's
squad.
Not nothing.
It's not the senior squad though. Like to me, when we're talking about like
okay.
where the program is at, like it can point to the future. Like Messi won a Olympic gold, but it's still like it's your U23 squad. You're not all there, and I don't think Brazil treats it as if this has been a successful era.
Yeah, certainly not comparable to a World Cup.
No. Of course. So to me, the pressure is on Carlo, I'm sure, at home to deliver a World Cup win. Mm-hmm. Nothing else is acceptable. And I don't see this team as being a World Cup winning team.
Yeah, we'll see. What other takeaways do you have for things for people to watch or things that you're interested in as we count down the days here?
I think the thing that I'm most like, obviously, we're interested in who's going to win the World Cup, which is the group stages is the fun time. It's like the festival of soccer. Everyone gets to play. Everyone gets to have a good time. Like if Curaçao scores a goal, the world, like you said, the world's eyes will be on Curaçao in that game. If they score a goal, the world will go wild. Like they'll just be the best experience. But the deeper the tournament goes, the more the same teams become important. Something like, I can't remember the exact number off the tip of my head, but I believe it's like 7 or 8 teams have won the World Cup in its entire history. Like the list is very small. And this year, kind of similarly, there are 6 teams that I think could win the World Cup. And those teams are England, Portugal, Argentina, France, Spain, or Brazil. To me, anyone other than one of those 6 would be a complete shock. I think the Netherlands, Germany, and a few other teams that can cause problems. Croatia's always in there, Morocco, and even like a team like Switzerland can end up being in the mix and maybe going deep. You can make a semifinal run. But when we get into the business end, the overwhelming majority of really, really good players are concentrated in a few countries. And that ends up being the reality. Um, I don't know where are you at in terms of like, you said Spain, but like, where's your vibe check at in terms of percentages? Because there are really key strengths, I think, with a few of these countries, but there are also like significant reasons that when I look at each country on this list, I'm like, I don't know if you have what it takes this year.
I like your list of six, and I would kind of split it into three and three. There are three teams on the list who have proven based on recent form that they can win
Yeah.
because they are winners. And that's Argentina, France, and Spain. And then you have three other teams there who are just as talented on paper as those other three. They have just as successful managers. They have just as much talent. They have just as much international pedigree in England, Portugal, and Brazil. But time and time again, they have rolled up into these major tournaments and have disappointed. Yes, Portugal won a Euro, what, a
10
decade
years ago.
ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. England have been a consistent disappointment. You mentioned how much Brazil have been a disappointment for the last more than 2 decades. And so I agree with you that like on paper, these are the six teams, but it's really hard for me to believe in my heart that England and Portugal can do it because I've seen just as talented, equally talented England and Portugal teams in the last 4 and 8 years be in this exact same situation and drop the ball. And Spain, I saw them win back-to-back Euros. I saw France, or one, wait, they won 1 Euro. Um, I saw France win the 2018 World Cup and almost win the 2022 World Cup. I saw Argentina win the 2022 World Cup. And those teams have their own problems too. Like Messi's older. Um, to me, like my gut says that it's France, Spain, or Brazil. I don't think that England are improving from the last 4 years. I think that Ronaldo was a real detriment to Portugal, and I think that it's gonna be really hard for them to not start Ronaldo. I think it's much easier for Brazil to bench Neymar than I think it is for Portugal to bench Ronaldo at this point. Um, and then I think the Argentina problem is just that Messi's 4 years older. Like that team was really great in 2022, but Messi's played 3 seasons in MLS, and I don't know. He's had a really good MLS career. He's having a really great MLS season. He's scoring goals left and right, but it's MLS.
Right. No, I think that's absolutely right. And when I'm looking at this field, Argentina, you have to start with the defending champions. And Argentina has a solid team. They did well in qualifying. But when we look back at what that World Cup run was like it was a lot of bit part players who, put in really hard work, and then Messi making the difference everywhere, all over the field, every single game. Messi is 38 now. I don't see that happening in the same way. Like, I just don't think he has the legs to keep up in the way that he'll need to over an elongated World Cup. Portugal, again, I just think that I think they need to step away from Ronaldo. If the manager has the courage to do that, I think this team is, to me, ready to make the jump. England is like, when we think back to what England's record has been since 2018, Gareth Southgate had them in the semifinal of 2018, took them to the Euro final in 2021, then took them to the quarterfinal in 2022, where they lost to France, and then took them back to the final of the Euro. And they didn't get any silverware.
Mm-mm.
And so, the question is, this England team to me has been, on paper, the most talented team alongside France of the last 6 years or so. But I think there are a couple of problems. One is the same problem Arsenal has had over the last few years, which is just not being able to mentally get over the hurdle and actually deliver when it counts. Number two, the Premier League, where a lot of these players play, is absolutely exhausting. The level of energy these players have to put in. Declan Rice has played so many more minutes than Ousmane Dembele has in France.
Yeah.
It is staggering. And so I do think that a lot of these English players will run into that wall as well. But then we have a couple other issues that we need to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. Spain, Lamine Yamal is going to be out for probably at least the first 2 games and will be recovering from injury throughout this tournament.
Is he Spain's best player?
I don't know that he's Spain's best player, but I think he is Spain's most dangerous player, is what I would say. And I think like those are two different things. Like a Rodri or a Pedri makes that team go. But Rodri or Pedri may not be creating the goal threat, right, that Yamal does. Yamal takes a really solid team and makes it an explosive team, along with Nico Williams. And I don't know what Spain looks like without him.
He's the closest thing to what used to be described as like Messi magic, where like one person just picks up a ball and is like, I'm getting a chance here. Like that,
Yeah.
like I haven't seen anyone do that like Messi until Yamal.
Yeah, he has an X factor, right, that really matters for Spain, and it made a difference for them in winning the Euros.
And he made a huge impact for Barcelona this season.
Yeah, just incredible. Like he is still 18. Like he is turning 19 this summer. Like
he's younger than
crazy.
Endrick.
Yeah,
my breakout.
Like, that is insane. But then we have France, who, you look at the France team, like every single one is basically a Champions League player. Mbappe is arguably the best player in the world. Like he's certainly up there. But they are kind of in shambles, partially just because of the Real Madrid situation. This is Didier Deschamps, the coach's last tournament before Zinedine Zidane takes over. The Real Madrid dressing room where Tchouaméni and Camavinga and Mbappe are has just been a disaster. Camavinga isn't even going to the World Cup. Tchouaméni, tried to like beat Valverde's head in the dressing room, like genuinely like send him to the hospital in some kind of locker room fight. Mbappe is just like enjoying the chaos and is just causing real problems there. Like
how many fans signed a petition to kick him out of the club?
It was in the millions. Genuinely, like it is crazy over there in Real Madrid. And then yet again, he scored over 40 goals this season. So like the question is like, does it matter?
The petition has 70 million signatures.
Well, I think it's bots. Like I don't think
it has to be, right?
Yeah, it's not real.
Yeah,
that's like the population of a country.
And basically, this was like this. They're giving Kylian Mbappe the Gareth Bale treatment of like, you don't care about our club enough, which is what they plagued Gareth Bale with for 7 or 8 years while he was scoring bicycle kicks in Champions League finals.
Yeah,
I hate Real Madrid fans. I'm sorry, I really do.
It's a sick club. I've always hated that club. I'm putting that out into the universe.
You can quote me.
Yep. I mean, this is a joint stance.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I think that all 6 of these teams can win, and all 6 of them have flaws that, in hindsight, could be fatal.
Yeah, which is a real cop out by me, but I also really do feel like none of these teams is a clear favorite because of the problems that they have.
So if I was going to make you cross out these 6 teams and look into your tier 2, what is the one team that you would say from the tier 2? I know you said that your dark horse was Norway. But you didn't even put them here into your tier 2 with, like you said, Netherlands, Germany, Croatia, Morocco, Switzerland. So if you don't give yourself those top 6, who do you think the next most likely team?
To me, the Netherlands is by far the next best roster. Like, I think in a normal cycle that is not this Germany cycle, I would always pick Germany in this like top 4. But this Germany team, I don't really believe in Julian Nagelsmann. Neuer isn't playing. I don't think Ter Stegen is playing. Like, there's no real goalkeeper. There's no real forward line. The midfield is
Don't
like
disrespect Kai Havertz like that.
I like Kai Havertz, but like the rest of the team, like Leroy Sané is like okay, Serge Gnabry is good, but like Kai Havertz is coming off of injury. There's no one to replace Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
like,
wasn't the last World Cup like Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and Thomas Muller? It was just a very different looking team.
Like, and that was a bad Germany team.
Yeah,
like that was a terrible Germany team. Since 2014, Germany has not been the same. Obviously, when they won, to me, Netherlands has a Champions League player quality roster in a lot of positions. and I think that they had the quality to top their group pretty handily. Um, and it'll be interesting, depending on the draw, how far they can get. But I think they would be my pick. Do you have one?
Um, Not just because they won AFCON, but Morocco. No, I need to
Okay.
stop making that. I need to stop making that AFCON joke. But I believe that Morocco are the most talented of the tier two teams. I think they have the best, one of the, in terms of people who were like, winning Champions League finals and finishing in the top five in the Ballon d'Or, it doesn't get much better than Achraf Hakimi. You have Brahim Diaz, who is, an elite attacking player. I think Morocco has a significant amount of talent, and they've been getting better and closer for the last 2 or 3 World Cups. Like this might be a kind of like this might be the one World Cup where their team is hitting their like physical prime in terms of age, but they have been putting together for the last 2 World Cups in 2018 and 2022 really, really good tournaments. And I think that if there was one team that we're going to just put it all together and have a breakout, it would be them.
Yeah, I mean they made it to the semifinals, the first African country to ever do that in 2022, which does really matter. Basically all their players play in Europe, which we talked about with the U.S. Like that's often an issue that we feel. Most of these Moroccan players do play in Europe in serious leagues, and I think that given some of the world class players that they have on that roster does really make a difference. So I think you could be right. I don't know that I expect them to go as far as they did last time, but I do think that they will certainly make it out of the group and certainly win a couple games in the knockouts.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, John?
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Like when things actually get rocking, like the World Cup, there is nothing like it genuinely. Um, Iran still a question mark there. We really don't know, but to me it seems like they're going to play, which is
I think
crazy.
I think they are going to play. Which I almost guarantee that they wouldn't play,
Yeah.
but it seems like between the ceasefire and the continued pressure that Infantino has been putting on Trump, it seems like they're going to be here.
Infantino's winning the strongman off. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, not me. Definitely not me. Yeah, I'm obviously very, very excited. I can't wait. I will be watching just so much. I did not apply for the Fox like World Cup watcher. Did you hear about the job, the
I
World Cup
did.
watcher job, where they were paying $50,000 for a summer, but you have to like sit. I believe you have to like sit in a glass box in Times Square watching the games, and you have to yeah, they will be in a custom built dream viewing space glass cube in Times Square.
I'm just not
And
about that.
then yeah, this is not very
No,
fun. But
no.
I will be doing the same job as him just from the comfort of my couch and for free.
I do. Okay, we have one final question to get to. We may do, still a full closer to the World Cup starting preview show, but we'll see. In the interim, I think we need to talk about the three host countries just really briefly.
Yeah, please.
Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. are all technically the tier one team in their respective groups. If you had to give me a a vibe meter out of 10 for each of those teams, where are you at in terms of your expected success for them? Like, what can we expect out of the hosts? Will this be good? Will one of them be more disappointed than others, or will they all kind of suck equally?
That's a really good question. Um, I think that Mexico are the best team in their group with the Czech Republic, South Africa, and South Korea. And I know that I picked South Korea as my dark horse, so I'm kind of being a little bit hypocritical. But I do think in terms of just like objectively looking at the path, I think South Korea are going to make it happen. But on paper, I think Mexico have the easiest path to success. Canada are in a group with Qatar and Switzerland. I mean, you mentioned that Switzerland is an excellent team, so I'm not gonna argue with you on that. And then you mentioned that the USA is in group H, no
D.
D, and that one is just a complete coin toss. So let's do. So you asked me for a scale. Okay, Canada I think is like 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
The USA I think is like 5 out of 10. and Mexico I think is like 6 out of 10.
Okay. I think I'm
What
going to
about
give Mexico.
what about you?
I'm going to give Mexico a 7, just because
Okay.
I agree with you. But I also I don't rate South Korea, South Africa, or the Czech Republic very highly. Ultimately, I think that Mexico won't win every game in that group, but I think they will top that group. Um, and I think that they, with home advantage, will probably end up winning at least one knockout game. So to me, that's general success for a Mexican team that does not have a lot of huge high caliber stars right now.
And on
Um,
paper, on paper, also, I think Mexico is the most talented roster of the three.
yeah, yeah, I would agree. Um, the vibes haven't been as great in Team Mexico for a little bit compared to where it was in 2018 or 2014, the golden days of the Guillermo Ochoa era. Were obviously iconic, but they're not quite that team. But I still think they're a good crew and will be solid. Canada, the Jesse Marsh experience concerns me. I think I'm also rating them at a 4 out of 10.
I think Ochoa is playing this World Cup and then retiring,
I think that is true.
which is great.
It's incredible, but this is
Yeah.
not the golden days of Ochoa, though.
He's gonna be 41.
It's incredible.
So
There are
like
quite.
it wasn't. I think didn't Buffon do like a World Cup as like his farewell as well for Italy? No, because Italy didn't make the World Cup.
No,
um,
but he did
yeah.
play pretty late.
Yeah, but this does feel like one of those like career send off kind of tournaments. Which
there are a few old aging players that are going to be in that category. Bosnia's Edin Dzeko, who many of us may remember from different eras, including playing at Manchester City back in the day, before the Pep Guardiola era. He will be playing in this World Cup. I just don't see Canada. It is possible that they would finish second in that group, but I just don't see it happening. Alphonso Davies has not been at his best. There are a couple of talented players in that team, but I don't believe in the Jesse Marsh experience. And then, like you said, the U.S., I'm going to give them a 6. Just because I do think that Pochettino will get some passion out of them come the World Cup. I think that they will make it out of the group. Even if they have to finish third, I think they'll still make it out and make it into the knockouts. I really don't believe in this team, as we've discussed, compared to previous iterations of the U.S., but maybe Poch will prove me wrong. But I don't see it. Pulisic has tailed off. If we took him from late last season or early this season, it would be different. But to me, it just feels like he's completely out of form. And, most of these guys are not just on top of the world right now. They were, it felt like they were at least in 2022. So my hopes are middling about the U.S., but I am excited. I'm excited for the games. I will back the red, white, and blue when the time comes.
I'm backing him right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not giving up, but I do think that the thing about Mexico is that their team has been stays fairly consistent and play together. And a lot of them also play in the Mexico League together. I know Raul Jimenez plays in the Premier League, but a lot of those guys play in the Mexican League and have a lot of experience with each other. And I think that with the U.S. team, there has just been so much turnover over the last 5 years in that team that a lot of these guys still don't really know each other, don't know how to play, don't play with each other consistently. So that's why I give the slight edge to Mexico. Unfortunately, I don't see I don't see any of these teams being a threat at the quarterfinals. No shot.
It's not going to happen, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
If Pochettino brings the U.S. to the quarterfinals, where does that rank in all-time American sporting accomplishments?
Right behind the miracle. No, no, I mean, it would be great for Pochettino's ambition to go back to Europe.
Do you think that matters for American sporting culture? If we make it that far?
A quarterfinal?
A quarterfinal, yeah.
I don't think it moves the needle that much.
You don't think it makes it done? No.
No, I mean, again, we're used, if you think about the Olympics, we're, in terms of basketball, hockey, we just won hockey gold. We just won both hockey golds, and we win basketball gold. I think, finishing in the top 8 is just not gonna. I think those knockout games might do pretty big TV numbers, and people might kind of come together and watch it. But a quarterfinal and a final are two very, very different vibes.
So you don't feel like winning 2 knockout games would make a big difference for the U.S.? I feel like it would. I feel like it would move the needle. It maybe wouldn't be like it wouldn't be the same deal, but soccer is so big.
Move the needle in terms of like, will people watch the quarterfinals or like the round of 16?
I just mean
Yes.
like
Move the
cultural
needle
engagement.
in terms of like
Yeah.
but like, are you asking if that projects to like the future popularity of soccer in America? 'Cause I don't believe that.
Not necessarily. I mean, soccer's on the up and up anyway in America, so like that's not gonna that's not gonna necessarily change. I more mean like when you walk into the office on a given day, most of the time people are not talking about soccer.
Mm.
Like people come up to me and are like, "What's going on in the soccer world? Tell us what's going on, John." Is winning 2 knockout games, is that going to change that? Where like your average American person is like, "Oh, did you watch that game?" Or no? That's my question.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. I think the average American will watch the later rounds if America's in it. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Just like, I mean, like that hockey game was massively watched, the gold medal.
Right.
Like
That's true.
that is the kind of thing that as Americans we get up for. So
I hope for all of our sakes,
especially
that
if we play Iran in the knockout round,
which
that
is
would
possible. It is possible.
that would do big numbers.
Do you think Trump would attend?
Oh yeah, I think he'd have to. Yeah, it'd be cowardly not to. And the new Ayatollah, no, who's in a box
Yeah.
together, solving world peace with Johnny.
Johnny the Ayatollah and Donald Trump. You heard it here first, guys. It's gonna be a great year.
I think Trump should take this as an opportunity to like end at least 10 more fake wars while the dignitaries are here.
I think this is a great idea. I would like to see just constant diplomacy happening.
Yeah.
In every box. It's gonna be a great experience.
Yeah, and if Trump hates a country, he'll just send JD Vance instead. Just as
Yes, I will know.
just the biggest slight in human history is sending JD Vance on your behalf to any function.
So funny. Okay. Well, guys, that's the vibe meter.
Yeah.
We'll see. I really think a USA versus Mexico or USA versus Canada match at any point, I don't know what the probabilities of that happening is, but if it happened, I feel like that would be a tremendous experience given some of our cultural experiences recently.
What do you think about USA England on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence? We just run the Revolutionary War back one more time.
Wasn't last time a goalless draw? Like that happened last World Cup.
Definitely was.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Fox branding of USA England on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, that would go pretty hard.
I need some like red coat graphics. You know how those do those like goofy cartoon animations on sports TV?
Just Harry Kane as a red coat.
Yeah. It's going to be great, guys.
I would love it.
And we are so excited for you guys to follow along.
Please let us know where's your 5 meter at for the USA or any other country in the World Cup. Who are you supporting? We'd be excited to engage with you on that. If you've gotten this far and you didn't watch us on video, even though I did say we were going to have awesome national anthem clips and jersey pictures, and we have both on this episode. But if you haven't watched us, you can watch us on Spotify or on YouTube. I have reached out to Apple to ask if we can be added to Apple Video, so that's pending. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. And as we're trying to kind of figure out our schedule and figure out where we're going to be at in terms of podcasting, I would say that we're a little bit up in the air right now in terms of next time we record, but that by the time the World Cup comes around, we'll be bringing out a lot of content. So please do subscribe and share us with a friend, anyone who might be maybe tuning into soccer for the first time and need a little bit of just a place to go after matches to kind of just hear what the community and what the culture is saying and have some water cooler talking points for the office where soccer is now going to be, a dominating topic, as John promised. I think we're a good place for that, John.
I think we are. We're going to aim to put out some content that maybe explains things kind of bare bones for people if you have questions about the World Cup and how we got here in some of these countries in their history.
Yeah. Anything else for the listeners, John?
No, I think we should let them go. We've sent a lot of soccer content their way.
We have. Congratulations, John.
Thank you, sir.
Again, champions of England. And the USA will be champions of the world.
Yep, that's so true. You heard it here first, guys.
And until then, we hope you all continue to be well and be safe, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Cheers, guys.